Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina. I am super excited to be here with you today to do a little compare and contrast video for the two little strollers that you see behind me. So what are we looking at? We are looking at the UppaBaby MINU version 3, and we're also going to be looking at the Bugaboo Butterfly. So both of these are strollers that are made by two different brands that are small enough when they're folded to go into the overhead compartment of an airplane, which is really awesome. And both are going to be great for traveling, daily use with kiddos up to 50 pounds. So let's launch into what's going to make them similar, different, all that good stuff. Oh, go ahead and hit like, go ahead and follow, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. You following and subscribing to this channel enables me to get these products to be able to compare them for you. So it's really helpful. We do have strength in numbers, and I appreciate every viewer and every view. If it makes sense to share this with someone, feel free to go ahead and share it. And if you want to buy any of these products, you can go ahead and check out the color choices on my website, DestinationBabyKids.com. I am a real true store in the Dublin Bay Area of San Francisco, Greater Bay Area. Come on down and see us. No. All right, so let's launch into what's going to make these strollers awesome. So, in the gray color that you see, we're going to be looking at the MINU version 3. And then in the blue, we have the Bugaboo Butterfly. So let's go ahead and extend both canopies just so everybody can see how nice those look. Both of these strollers are going to give you great sun coverage. So this is just something I'll start off right away. This is a really nice feature. My nephews all have red hair, so keeping them covered from the sun is a really nice feature. What is interesting is that on the Bugaboo, the additional panel that you open up is mesh ventilated. On the MINU V3, you're going to have the entire canopy as fabric, with the exception of a mesh ventilated panel that is able to be opened, but it can be closed. So with Bugaboo, in order to close that up, you will have to actually close this gusset and zip it up. So just a little difference to be aware of there with the canopies between the two products. Now, getting back into what's going to be similar, as I pointed out before, both of these strollers have a one-handed fold and will be suitable when they are folded to be small enough to go into an overhead compartment on an airplane. The other nice thing about both of these strollers is that they are, so here they are folded immediately next to each other. I'm going to step away just so everybody can see. If you're looking, I guess the MINU is going to be this guy on your right, and then the Bugaboo Butterfly is the one on the left. They both have an easy one-handed open, so you just pinch the same buttons that you did to fold it and go ahead and unfold both of them. I would say they're both relatively easy to fold and unfold. You would get used to whatever you have. Do people struggle with either of these style of products? Of course, you can always find somebody that's going to struggle with something. But in general, I would argue both are very simple to fold. So we love that. And both can be done right or left-handed, which is great. I will point out you have to kick them close enough together in order for them to lock. And the same is true when you unfold these guys. You don't want the frame to be pulling against itself. You want the frame to be leaning against the locking mechanism. That will give you your path of least resistance when you're opening the strollers. Now, something else that's different on these two models, I will say that I would argue Uppa is a little bit more one-handed than the Bugaboo. And you're thinking to yourself, what are you talking about? When you do some adjustment on the Bugaboo for the foot plate, it is a two-handed adjustment. So I'm going to need two fingers to be able to free up the foot plate, which is very, very awesome. It's quite large. It's a nice big foot plate. But what I would point out is that if we're using the foot plate in an extended mode on the Butterfly, which you see here, and if we wanted to use the foot plate on the UppaBaby, UppaBaby's foot plate is a one-handed adjustment. So, okay, great, who cares? We'll show you. When you fold these to go into the overhead, I have my foot plates engaged on both of them. If I were to fold the MINU, it's not going to make a difference if that piece is open or closed. But when I fold the Butterfly, the foot plate is up And now it's too large to go in the overhead. So that piece would need to fold down and forward. Why does this matter? I have some customers that are one-handed. And so when we talk about things with a one-handed fold, does it really mean it's truly a one-handed fold? Is everything operatable with one hand? Those are all different questions encompassed in sort of a one-handed fold criteria. So we just want to point out, yes, it could theoretically go one hand up into overhead, but MINU V3 is going to give you sort of your truest one hand in that that bit doesn't affect the fold whatsoever, and the adjustment on it is truly one-handed. So we do love that. It's a real true one-handed option. Now, and don't worry, we're going to do a close-up on these guys because I know it's pretty far away from where you're standing. We'll be able to see everything up close on both of these. Let's launch into other similarities and differences. I have to do a cheat sheet here. Okay, so MINU V3 is a $399 price point. Bugaboo Butterfly is going to be a $479 price point. The weight of both of these strollers is relatively similar. We're looking at 16.5 pounds on MINU V3. On the Butterfly, you're at about 16 pounds. The basket for underneath, so the storage components down here, MINU version 3 is going to hold 20 pounds. The Bugaboo basket holds 17 pounds. Now, another big difference between these products, which has been very exciting about this new MINU version 3, is that MINU version 3 has a recline that is deep enough. Oh, one more note. This is as upright as either of these seats will go. I get this question every time in the comment section, and I love and appreciate you guys so much. But just so you can see, neither one is at a full 90-degree upright, and neither one can be pulled up and cheated with the type of reclines that they have to make them sit more upright. So some strollers, we can cheat them and make them sit more upright, but both of these, I'd argue, have less than 90 degrees, so it's not a full 90-degree upright on either seat. This is as upright as you're able to get either of them. Does one sit more upright to me than the other? No. I'd say they're very, very equivalent in their most upright position. Now, that being said, reclined is where we're going to see a difference. So with Bugaboo Butterfly, our recline on this stroller is appropriate for 6 months plus, meaning the baby can be as little as 6 months and go directly into the stroller seat. If we're talking about MINU version 3, it is a deeper recline. It's deep enough to do a newborn baby. Additionally, on MINU version 3, there's going to be a little apron piece that pops out and gives you this sort of pramette mode. You really only get that on one other stroller that's small enough to go in the overhead. So nice feature that it is included. You can snap that all together and make it into its own little cocoon style sleep nest for a baby as new as 0 months plus. Now, that being said, both of these strollers have options for car seat adapters, meaning we can buy separate pieces to clip directly onto the stroller frame to make them work with different car seats if we want to clip the car seat directly onto the stroller frame. Now, UppaBaby gives you an option to do UppaBaby car seats. That adapter is $25. If you're going to do a NUNA, CYBEX, Maxi-Cosi car seat, Be Safe, that is a $50 adapter. So they do charge you more if you go outside of their brand. Bugaboo is going to offer you one adapter for NUNA, CYBEX, Maxi-Cosi, CLEC, and the Britex Be Safe, and that adapter is $60. So they don't make their own car seat, so it would make sense that they don't have an option for their car seat brand, but UppaBaby does make their own car seats. They actually make 3 infant seats currently. So if you wanted to do one of their car seats, it is a more cost-effective adapter. The other thing that's been yet to be determined is, can we leave the adapter on the MINU V3 with it folded up and still go into the overhead? When I get the adapters, that's the first thing I'm going to check, because currently none of the strollers that go into the overhead really fit nicely with the adapters still attached to the frame. In every case, they need to come off in order to fit in the overhead, even if they fold while still on the frame. So something to be aware of. We will delve deeper into that once they come, but they're currently not in my store yet. They're en route because it's such a new stroller that it's just not even available yet. Okay, so the range here on either one of these is going to go up to 50 pounds. But again, with the Butterfly, we're starting at 6 months plus, and with MINU version 3, we would be able to start from birth without purchasing anything separate. Now, MINU V3 doesn't include a rain shield. If you want that, it would be $20 extra. It is included in the cost of the Butterfly. They both have a travel bag option. The MINU travel bag option is going to be $90, but it gives you an additional year of warranty. So it's called a bag that has a travel safe guarantee. You can look into the whole program from UppaBaby. It's actually really cool. But the standard warranty on this stroller is going to be 3 years, so you get that extra year of warranty. If you're traveling with a travel safe bag and something happens to it, it extends beyond that 3 years to a 4th year. With Bugaboo, you get a standard 2-year warranty, and then it becomes 3 if you register it within 90 days of purchase on their website. If you buy their travel bag is $60, and their travel bag doesn't offer any additional incentive other than keeping the bag clean and keeping it safe and sturdy. Both travel bags are nice. I would definitely give the advantage to UppaBaby here. No question that travel safe guarantee is awesome, and customers love that. So that's been very, very successful. You can buy a front bar for either of these strollers. The bumper bar for MINU V3 is going to be $30. On the Bugaboo, it is $39.95. On MINU V3, you will need to be mindful of what color front bumper bar you're buying. Based on the color of the stroller, the leather handle will change. So they offer 4 colors here. A light blue with a peanut butter leather, this color Grayson with this dark brown leather. They have a pearlescent gray called Savannah with, I believe, the same color leather you see here, and then an all black called Jake with black leather. This being said, UppaBaby is the only brand currently that uses real leather on the handle and on the front bumper bar. Everybody else is going to use vegan or some other type of material, so that is one way that they do differentiate and stand out in the market, for good or for bad, just something to be aware of. Bugaboo, there's just one bumper bar color, the black, to match the black handle. Snack tray on either of these guys. You can buy a snack tray for the MINU V3 for $45. Now, if you wanted a snack tray for the Bugaboo Butterfly, it's actually technically not available, but you could cheat it by buying their front bumper bar, and then you would have to buy a Silver Cross Reef Dune tray for an additional $60. And to be honest, that tray will eat into the bumper bar, so it's gonna kind of destroy it a little bit, but if you want it, you could do it. So again, your all-in cost here for a tray is $100 versus snack tray on MINU V3 would be $45. Cup holder for MINU V3 is $30, cup holder for Bugaboo is $40. Car seat adapters, we talked about that. Warranties, we talked about that. Okay, the basket opening. So both of these guys have really good baskets. Again, MINU V3 will hold the 20 pounds. The Bugaboo holds 17 and a half or 17 pounds. Bugaboo basket, however, is more accessible because the opening on the front is larger as well as the opening on the back. So the opening on the front for either one, MINU is 9 inches on the front, 7.5 on the back. Bugaboo is 10 inches on the front, 7.5 on the back, all the way up to 9 inches because Bugaboo has a basket mouth which can move. So it's pliable. So if we need more space to shove more stuff in there, we're able to do that with this guy on the front and on the back of the stroller, whereas on MINU V3, it is fixed. So those opening sizes that I gave you, they are what they are. It's still quite generous, but it's not like a movable piece. It's part of the frame. So something to be aware of, a little difference there between those two guys. They both have a carry strap to utilize when they're folded. Now this is getting into some really minor stuff, but I do want to point this out. I would argue that the carry strap on the MINU V3 is a better carry strap. And what do I mean by that? When I do my fold here, the carry strap, you will need to unbuckle the buckle. Okay, so we'll maybe take a point away in that regard. But now the strap is right here on the seat. So it's in a very intuitive place for the consumer to be able to find it. The other thing that's really smart is the way that this strap works, the way it's aligned with the stroller, is that when you open it up, it's not gonna stay flopping around like this. It will find its correct spot on the actual seat of the stroller. So as you can see, down here on the seat, if I can hold it this way maybe, the carry handle is right here. And it sits flush on the actual seat where kiddo sits. Now I felt around down here. I don't think they're gonna be able to feel it. I don't think that that's gonna be problematic. I'm sure that there are gonna be people that bring it up and, you know, ask if it's a problem. Brand new product, hard to say. I sincerely doubt that it will be. But again, you may have a kid that's very, very tactily sensitive, so something to consider. That handle is on the seat. Now again, as I pointed out, the handle runs down into the basket, but with the way the fabric is sewn in there, there's nothing that's gonna get caught or be a problem. Now, the handle, the carry strap for the Bugaboo Butterfly, it's really specific. It has to come out the front of the stroller, and then it also needs to be able to maneuver around the foot plate. I also would argue that it's quite short. I mean, I'm pretty short, and still for me, like if this were a purse, I would be mad at the designer. I'd be like, couldn't you have made the shoulder strap just like a half an inch or an inch longer just to give a little bit more clearance? Feels maybe like a little more awkward, and it is more specific. You do need to pull it up through the part of the basket. If you try and pull it through the back to use it, it's so short that it's like not even usable. So little difference there. And as you can see, it's kind of hanging out. But when you open the stroller, it does find its way back into the basket, but it is loose in there. It's not tight under the rest of the fabric like you get on MINU V3. So something to be aware of there. Again, not a good or a bad thing, just differences. All right. Now, we talked about the one-handedness of both of them. I'm gonna say the MINU is more truly one-handed than the Bugaboo. But again, it's just to do with that footrest operation and with folding and having to have that footrest piece come down. Okay, backrest length. MINU V3 is 21 inches long on the backrest. Bugaboo is 22 inches. The width, MINU V3 is about 13.5 and it widens out to 14. On the Bugaboo, we're at 14 inches wide as well. So it's a little wider, a little longer backrest. Additionally, the depth of the seat is deeper. So the depth of the seat on Bugaboo is 10 inches deep. On the MINU, it's 8. And then if we extend the foot pieces and start to consider those as a part of the seat too, right? So that initial measurement I gave you was if we did the seat without the footrest engaged. If we engage the footrest on these guys, that's gonna lengthen it, right? So now we're at a depth of 13.5 inches on Bugaboo, and the depth, or excuse me, on MINU V3, we're at 13.5, and on Bugaboo, it was shocking how deep it was, 16 inches. So it's very, very deep. Additionally, your drop from knee to the bottom is 12 inches on the Bugaboo, and it's only 11 on the MINU V3. So these are still very generous dimensions, but if you're asking which one is gonna hold a longer, bigger bodied kid more comfortably, my thought would be it would be the Bugaboo. Now both of these have liners that are fully removable and washable, so that's like equivalent on both of them. I know that UppaBaby is the Green Guard Gold certified, so that is something else maybe to think about too between them. The other thing to keep in mind, your harness height. On Bugaboo, your tallest harness height is 15 inches. On the MINU, it's 16. So even though it's a shorter backrest, it does have an additional inch of seated harness height, whereas on Bugaboo, that caps out at 15. The type of buckles that these guys have are different as well. The UppaBaby has a traditional buckle, meaning it's just very, very traditional. You have two pieces that clip into a center piece, and you can't really use just the lower component, so it can't be a 3-point or a 5-point harness. That one's always going to be a 5-point harness. The thing that's special about Bugaboo, and this is a very cool feature, I'm going to bring this up to show, is the type of harness that they have has a single button in the center, and it is designed to sort of like sit around kiddo's body, and everything comes off individually. and like sits up and open. It makes it easy to be able to take kiddo in and out of the seat with the type of harness that it is. Also, it's cool because you could use just the lower components separate from the shoulder pieces, so it could be used as a 3 or a 5-point harness. So that's nice sometimes for the bigger, older children. You know, they get fussy about the way that they want something to be. So I will get a little bit more of a close-up in on these guys. We'll edit it into the rest of the video. But all right guys, and as you can see, my camera cut off. As you can see, here's a little bit of the close-up that we were discussing. And again, baskets are big on both, but as you can see, this is that strap that I was talking about in Bugaboo that needs to come through the front while you fold it. And these are the buttons that have to be engaged on the foot plate simultaneously if you want this piece to move. Whereas on UppaBaby, it is a single handle to do that foot plate adjustment. And if we spin it to the back here, you can see that there is this sort of contained strap that hides along the side that runs up into the seat, and that is your carry strap. And this is sort of that carry strap piece. Here's this traditional buckle I was talking about, referencing. So, and then that is that carry strap. So as you can see, it sits pretty far toward the back of the seat. And again, I don't think kiddos are going to be able to feel that. There's nothing bumpy or lumpy underneath, but just something to be aware of that's different between the two. And as I pointed out, both are, so they both have a similar folding mechanism. They both will go extremely small and into the overhead. Now again, I wouldn't recommend doing this kneeling, but just so that we can see the size of these guys. They are so close in terms of size. It's really just a matter of personal preference. So again, if it makes sense, go ahead, hit like, follow, subscribe. Feel free to check out any of our other videos. And we really appreciate you guys watching so much, and feel free to check us out in our next video comparing even more travel strollers.